And so begins the adventure of the Clarens trip with Martin and Leon. The donkeys are packed, and we've made a couple of stops along the way. We've picked up a couple of riders, and we're off to Clarens. Spirits are high, expectations are high, and we're looking forward to a great weekend in the Maluti Mountains. Upon arrival, we went and declared our presence with the owners of the Bokperd campsite where we stayed, took some impressive photographs of the surrounding area, and proceeded to set up camp. That evening we had dinner in Clarens, my first taste of Icebine, which I enjoyed thoroughly. Marinus, Nicole and the rest of the group enjoyed the beers, and before they became too blurry and out of focus, the evening ended early to bed, early to rise. The next morning we were up early, an ideal opportunity to take some scenic photographs, which Nicole took care of. I, on the other hand, needed to do some repairs to my camera that was mounted on my helmet, as I had managed to rip it off on the trip down. And of course, being a city boy, I was totally unaware that the showers were heated by what is commonly known as a donkey. To me it looked like a rubbish bin outside the ablution facilities, and I paid no mind to it as I went to have my shower. And as my luck goes, just 5 minutes after my shower, the staff lit the donkey, and everybody else had warm water for their morning preening session. However, no matter, we've come here to ride. The donkeys have been unpacked and they are now racehorses. So off to Clarens for a light breakfast, and then let's hit the mountain passes. So after a brief session of deflating tires, which I must say we didn't do too much of, simply because I felt that the terrain would probably be a little more rocky, we proceeded on our adventure. Marinus indicating there that a favourable move would have been a wheelie, which at this stage I didn't oblige to. However, at the next stop, of course, we saw Cosmos, and as is our habit, photographs in the Cosmos are mandatory.
My this thing is flat, see? My communicator. Yeah. Yeah, Cosmos. Go in the flowers, look pretty. Sunset, snow, beach, underwater, party, flower. No, but that's close up. Text, scene recognition. Right, there we go. Yes, and you're breaking them, look. I know. You're breaking them.
Now, keeping our friends at home in mind, I've had to include this section for the Colonel. The claim is that a small patch of mud is my nemesis. Coming up, a tiny little patch of what looks like spilt coffee. There you go, Corin. I can make it through.
Nice!
And there's France clapping hands as Marnus takes the more difficult route through the mud, and as Nicole arrives, she proclaims her approval.
Oh.
And that was lovely for warm-ups. The mud puddles become a bit longer, but there seemed to be a dry line through everything. Now as I pass Wilfred on the left here, I see Nicole stopped on the right, indicated by the red arrow pointing right, and Hanley on the left. I'm pretty sure I can splash Nicole with a bit of mud and possibly just throw some at Hanley. However, there wasn't enough mud to throw at Hanley, and I didn't realize it yet, but she was not impressed with the mud anyway.
You should be okay if you go around the outside there. You want to take a moment and just relax. Hy's droog, so en so is hy droog, lyk dit my. Breathe. Breathe. That's all. Just don't seize up. Just breathe. Okay?
Now at this point in the trip it would seem that Dalian's GPS started to lie to her. As you can see, we are now passing through a fence, not really a gate but a boundary nonetheless. And this is where the adventure normally begins. Another mud obstacle, and as I wait for Hanley and Marnus to complete the obstacle, I decided to follow their line. However, I lost it towards the end, and I just decided, you know what, there's a remedy for that. It's called throttle. Now I don't know what it is about little bridges, but they always seem to make it into the videos, possibly because it's a landmark and you're crossing a little stream and it's all pretty, but there's always a jump just after it.
Lekkerste deel.
Lekker man,
Sê weer?
sê lekker man, lekker.
Ja, die lekkerste deel. Okay, good.
The ladies having so much fun, they decided to push through and get things moving. And as I get to the intersection, you'll notice on the right there's a couple of sticks lying on the ground, which are actually a gate. I didn't realize this, possibly rode over it here, and when we came back I made the same mistake again.
What's fout?
I'll close it, don't worry.
You what?
I'll close it.
Oh, the gate. Oh, okay.
Emil there telling me that there's a gate, and still the penny hasn't dropped. Now, as I've said before, the adventure begins when you get lost, and I'm pretty certain that Dalian didn't plan to bring us through this kind of terrain. As you can see, Nicole's riding in the rut on the right hand side, and I'm riding on the middleman, which is where the fun's at. GS being known for being a little bit loose on loose stuff, makes for a good bit of fun.
requires a lot of concentration, eh?
No, just wait back.
Oh,
I was riding on the middle, man. It's easier. Because you're in a rut.
yeah,
Get out of the rut.
I'm trying to stay in the rut.
Why? Get out.
It takes skill to stay in the rut.
Yeah. So what's the difficulty up front here?
I think the
Oh,
road-
it's
road
the
is
road
just
ends, so we got to go back. We got to go back the same way.
And so it is true, we made a U-turn and back to that boundary fence that we came through in the first place.
Wait for me, dear.
Okay.
This was a great spot to park and record the sound of that KTM. And as we approach the gate, I catch myself acting like the village idiot again.
Oh shit. Where's the gate come from? Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't see it there.
And that's because numbnuts fetched it from over there. And as one does when one's caused trouble, you run away. Watch how I get this line hopelessly wrong. Now as I moved through the bunch and through the fence, two of our best riders selected and sent on a reconnaissance to find the correct route. I in the meantime moved back to where we rode through that last mud puddle where I got my line slightly wrong, and I waited for Magnus and Martin. No wheelie from Magnus this time either. As you will see, Martin also loses his way and just gets creative with his line. And so we stopped for a brief moment, and I thought I'd take a quick video shot of all the smiling faces. After this, we stopped at the Kestel Hotel, had a little cold drink to drink, a couple of chips, and then we decided that in the afternoon we would definitely not go and ride the pass that we had planned, and we'd save it for the next day. Confidence is high, everybody's loose, speeds are picking up. Now, as is common practice when riding in a group, the second person in the group is supposed to stop at the intersection and point the direction for the rest of the group to follow. I made a bit of a boo-boo of this because Emile had waited at the turn, and as I was approaching the turn coming up here, I indicated for Frans, who was right behind me on Magnus's bike, to come through so I could videotape him. Emile took this as a sign for him to go, and I got into trouble with Nicole. The point being that they missed the turn and had to come back. And there goes Magnus with my angry wife. The next day it was off to ride the pass we were planning to ride the day before, and we stopped to fuel up at probably one of the most scenic garages I've ever been to. And of course it's a new day, so of course our fears are fresh, and so mud is to be avoided again. And of course our fear of sand is right back where it belongs. This section is quite deceiving on video. It is actually quite steep. Hunley stopped halfway just to take a break and perhaps some happy snaps. This was promising to be one of the fun parts of the weekend, because this pass was filled with some fast sections, a couple of patches of mud, some sand, and really awesome riding. Of course, when we got to the top, or what we thought was the top, it was photo session time again. Now at this patch I stopped just to film as Hunley came through, and as Marnus was coming along I tried to convince him to go to the longer stretch of mud for some impressive footage, but he didn't fall for it. And when Martin came through a bit later, I managed to document that. Notice how this next mud puddle just seems to appear out of nowhere, and so indicating to us once again why one shouldn't go chasing over a blind rise. Coming out the back end of this mud puddle, the back wheel gets sideways, much to my amusement. And here we have Hunley doing a dismount in the middle of a patch of mud. Unfortunately, I wasn't ahead of her to document it. Hunley, you must do these things on camera.
Maar dan wag jy ook nou vir ons, dan help ons jou deur.
No, I'm not there. I want to go back.
Then you gotta ride what we... Wait man. You grab the handlebars. 1, 2, 3.
Kan ek net 'n foto neem? Baie uitstoei. Dit was my bike.
Okay, I'll stand at the back and push while you spin the wheel, okay? Yeah.
Right there we found that the fueling system had come off, and we needed to push it back. Fortunately we had Martin right behind us to take care of that. Here we have another unfortunate camera anomaly. This is quite a downhill, a nice one, but of course the camera not showing that. Unfortunately, it's a bit far away, but you can see just through the trees there's some sheep crossing the road, which we had to wait for. Which for us city folk is quite an amusing sight.
Nicole, wait for them to cross. Lovely, eh?
The next descent was a little more steep, and of course Nicole managed to dismount her bike. She claims that one of the locals had distracted her and she'd looked away for a moment, and the front wheel washed.
Happens. Okay, move. Right. Let's just. I'm gonna pick up the handlebars. It's in gear, hey? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go. That's it. Right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Right. Mount from that side. Okay, I've got it. Just kick your leg over. Try not to kick me in the face. Right. Now leave it off and just use the clutch and go down. Okay.
That dismount rattled Nicole a bit when there was another descent coming up.
That's the rear brake.
But she got through this one, only to learn that we would then be turning around and going back simply because we were running out of time.
Okay, you do as you please.
And so on the route back past the farm, and of course what does one do when one sees a route across the road? What comes naturally, of course? One follows the red arrow.
What is so difficult about this? And when one gets home, it's always a pleasure to see a happy face.
Tinky Pink, my doggy, my puppy. Hello, my doggy, my doggy. Tinky Pink, my doggy, my puppy, pop. Yes.
Did you miss us?
Oh, they sing and they dance when we come home.